Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. Report has it that Ebony's family have drawn the battle line, between themselves and the great Lion's family. That Ebony will have to enter the Igbo-Ado-Ugbo forest to remove her own calabash that is called Ikori-Ase. Hey, wahala. When you think that you have finished one day, you see another one. This is what is going on. As we are hearing, if the information is correct, they said 2 years ago, when all of the crisis happened, where, the women came in and there was so much wahala, confusion and everything, that they discovered that they had a lot of attacks on the great lion. And so they needed to do certain sacrifices. They did a lot, and they needed to do more. And one of those sacrifices was supposed to happen in a forest that is called Igbo-Ado-Ugbo forest, okay, sacred forest, okay? And that was where they needed to do it. So the sacrifices were supposed to be in 3 phases. But they needed and they said that was even one of the major reasons why elders stood and say he must marry more than one wife. So they needed one of his Oloris to enter the forest. But nobody agreed to enter. They said it was only Ebony that agreed to go. That for the first time, it was Ebony that went with the Calabash and entered that forest. And they did rituals that did not come through. Then Iyanifa was brought in. She went and did the second and the third ritual. So the second ritual, the Calabash was carried by Iyanifa, and the third ritual, the Calabash was carried by a virgin priestess guided by Iyanifa. So they went and placed the 3 Calabashes there, and that was when everything was completed. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Dela Ram. I bring you fresh and spicy gist from the source, still on the royals. How are you guys doing? Happy new week still. I appreciate you guys. I love you. A share Adukbe, my people. If you're yet to subscribe, what are you waiting for? Kindly go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell, and do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. So they said it was not just a ceremony, it was the very bread of the great lion's reign, a covenant between man, spirit, and throne. Hidden deep inside the Igbo-Ado-Ugbo forest, 3 ancient calabashes rested under a sacred Iroko tree. No ordinary eyes had, seen them. These are not places where people just go at any given time. You have to go there because you have a mission. And that forest itself is not a place where people go all the time. From the boundaries or the corners of the forest, for tourist attraction, people could go and see some of the things that they have been talking about, but you cannot dare. Like, you are not there. You see palm front all over because the custodians are always inside. You want to trespass, you will see one will appear in front of you like, a ghost. That is how they appear, okay? Now, they said that was where Ebony went to. Okay, I'm not going to give full detail, but I will just let you understand, the confines for which I can get to is where I will get to. Okay, I will not give full detail. They said the first calabash placed by Iyanifa, as in the first calabash placed by Ebony. Okay. They said the first calabash placed by Ebony held the season of renewal, the decade of healing and restoration, when peace was meant to return to the throne and unity was supposed to bind the royal, wives and the palace once more. Ebony's calabash was different. It was black. They said the calabash was black and gold, carved with her, in fact, in the style of her own personal assay, sealed with her own bread. When she went into the forest, she carried her, herself. She went with all the pain, like everything that is going on in the Great Lion Palace. They packed it symbolically and loaded inside the palace and carried it and went there so she can drop the calabash and bring the other one. That was the first calabash that Ebony carried, okay? Now, when she finished that, anyways, let me continue before I tell you what happened. They said that night it rained blood, red rain. Like that night it rained cats and dog. The forest red. Ebony almost fainted. In fact, some people say she fainted. Some say she almost fainted. She reached the sacred clearing, and chanted in the language that they were taught how to do. And she did so many things that she was supposed to do, and dropped the calabash. She stayed there overnight, and the next night, according to her, she heard voices. There was a time where the pot that she carried on her head became so heavy, it was as if her neck wanted to break. It was like she was carrying the entire wall on her head. She was scared. Every time that she would hear a voice, she would remove what she had inside her bag. She would spray. They'll give her way. That a whole lot happened to her inside that place that night where she went to go and drop her calabash. And this calabash, they said it was with her own assay. Now, they said that when she came back, the whole thing did not stop. Even though the great lion felt better, but he was not completely okay, they had to bring a priestess, a virgin priestess again, that carried the second calabash, placed by, another virgin priestess. They said that symbolized the season of trials, the years when betrayal, pain, and spiritual battles tested the strength of the great lion spirit. It was coated in white chalk and wrapped in a fabric of adornment. Within it was sealed the whisper of tears, all the cries that the great lion never allowed the world to see. Yes, they said that was what was in that calabash. The girl went again. Then we also heard that things did not go well. In one camp, we are hearing that the second calabash was Yanifa. But in another camp, we are hearing that Yanifa carried the third calabash. Some people are saying that Yanifa carried the second calabash and later led the girl with the third calabash. But let's talk about Yanifa's second calabash. They said the second calabash, represented the season of calling, the decade when the great lion was chosen by the oracle, molded by fire and crowned with the rare of destiny. That calabash was golden brown, carved with sacred markings that glowed faintly under moonlight. It was said that if you place your ear near it, you could hear drums echoing from the past, drums from the days of his coronation. That was the calabash that Yanifa, carried. They went there inside that forest. They say they dropped everything, and they said the spiritual code of the tree. He said the covenant of Igbo-Ado-Ugbo was sealed by 3 laws. No calabash must be removed before its season ends. If one is broken or taken, the other lose balance, causing spiritual cures. Only one with pure intent can enter the forest after the sealing, or the forest itself will turn against them, right? Now, years passed, peace returned, but so did pride, jealousy, and division. Ebony began to feel forgotten. She had risked her life to enter the forest when everyone, refused, okay? And, everybody had an excuse. Then they said there were so much excuses. Some people said they were afraid, and blah, blah, that they thought could have gone. She refused to go, and all of that. It was only Ebony that went. So right now, Ebony said that her own calabash is guided by her own assay, that her assay continues to call her, that her assay has been rejected, that she has been rejected. Her sacrifices means nothing to the palace. She wants her calabash removed. That is where and her families have come. They have caused a lot of problems. They say palace is in panic. The great lion himself, for the first time, he's actually in panic over this demand, because Ebony say she wants her calabash removed, that she is ready to leave. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.